Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the On Fire B2B podcast where we take business owners and CEOs in the B2B space. 6 questions, 9 minutes, because the best know when to be concise and when to end. Let's get to it. Question number one, a few sentences. Tell me who you are and what do you do?
Thank you, Bob, for having me. My name is Kevin McNulty. I'm a speaker, author, coach who helps businesses be more successful by focusing more on their people to help them become more effective. I also retired from the Air Force. I live in Tennessee. I have a wife and two daughters, and I'm a practicing Christian, albeit not a good one.
There we go. Yeah. The good Christians are the ones who say they aren't. So, question number two, what is the best thing about working with businesses?
Well, quite frankly, watching businesses grow from the inside out, I approach things different. I'm a soft skills expert, if you will. So I work specifically with people. In my world, I watch CEOs and business owners focus more on the numbers and the processes and the systems and the mission, but I help them look at themselves. I help them look at their people and help develop people and culture that produces the numbers, the processes, and the systems.
Awesome, awesome. Question number three. I'm hearing from other top executives and owners that using quotes and testimonials from clients really increase conversions and sales. What are your thoughts?
Well, let me start with 100% spot on. But I also think you have to start with the basic principle, and that is that word of mouth is actually the most effective form of marketing. And so, in fact, I read in a study about word of mouth that it drives $6 trillion in consumer spending, 13% of consumer sales, results 5 times higher than in paid media. 90% of the people are more likely to buy from brands, if you will, that they trust and have credibility. So, key operating word, trust. Quotes and testimonial fall into that same category.
Absolutely. And
That when, yes,
yes, I love word of mouth and referrals. The problem is you just can't control the flow.
correct.
Here we go. Question number four. What advice do you share with other companies working in the B2B industry? Go.
Well, I would say not only the B2B industry, but frankly, any industry, any work as a consultant, as a business, as an organization, doesn't matter. That I just believe, and it's where I put my focus to help people to never stop learning and growing. I think about a guy named Roger Federer. He's the greatest tennis player to ever live. He's still playing. He's still at the top of his game at 38, which is very high for tennis. But one of the key principles that he works from is that he never, ever stops learning and growing. And we're talking about a guy that you don't know how it's possible that he could get any better, but he believes in that. So, how do you do that? Well, specifically, I suggest to people all the time. In fact, this is part of the work that I do is to continually go out and get feedback. Remember that feedback is the mirror to your life and to your business and to your profession and all those sorts of things. And so, how do you go out and get feedback? It's pretty simple. You have to be willing to ask the question, Bob, how can I be a better podcaster? How can I be a better leader? How can I be a better business person? How can I be doesn't matter what it is. It's the simple question of how can I be better XYZ. I remember asking my daughters these questions one time. How can I be a better father? My oldest daughter, she's my flower child. She told me how perfect I was in the most beautiful way. I asked my second child, if you have kids, second children, they're a little bit different. And she said, let me think about that, Dad. And she was actually sitting in my office. She says, "Oh, I got it. How about when I come home from school, and you're working and you're typing, and that you don't do this when I come by to say, oh hi Alexander. Oh yeah. Oh good. You had a great day. Good. Uh huh. If you do that, you'd be a better dad." And it changed me as a dad. So be willing to ask that question, and then be willing to be open to the feedback that you will receive. And I'll leave one little quote about this about what you're trying to garner with feedback, and it's this: that I never learn from those who agree with me. So you're looking for the feedback that is critical, that helps you learn and grow. And there you have it.
Love it. Love it there. Let's get to question number five. What other top CEOs and business owners in the B2B industry, like yourself, would you like to acknowledge as a leader and should be a guest on my podcast?
Well, I'm going to call out a client, actually, a gentleman by the name of Don Bruce. He owns a company called American Home Design, very, very successful. He grew it from the ground up. 40 years later, he has an incredibly successful business, and I have had the pleasure of working with him and hearing how he thinks, and he would be the guy.
Perfect. I'll look them up. Thank you for that recommendation there. But number six, Kevin, most important question of the podcast. You got to focus on this one.
I'm going to focus.
So, Kevin, tell me about your first time, your first sale.
Thank you. Well, thanks for the clarification on that.
You're welcome.
Well, listen, it was a bit odd. I'd gotten out of the Air Force in 2000. I started doing little contract work here and there, even temp work, trying to stay alive. And I remember I got a gig basically as a career and transition coach with an organization. And so it went on for about a year, and they wanted me to oversee other consultants. I started doing that. And I realized that the person that I was personally working for was just not the type of leader that I wanted to work with. So I had to make an exit from them. And so I had a phone call with this person. It was relatively contentious, if you will, but it was my only real source of income. And so I remember hanging up the phone and falling back in my chair and literally saying these words, God, what am I going to do now? And I kid you not, within a minute, I heard the ding on my computer. I opened up the email, and it was from a lady named Louise who said, Kevin, would you please call me? I would like to talk to you about some work. So for me, that's a God thing all the way through and out. But here's the other point, and that is that how did I get her? Through word of mouth. And that launched my business from there.
Well, love it there. Love it there. Kevin, you now have 2 minutes and 35 seconds left.
What?
Promo time. Ask me a question, talk about the weather, or since the best know when to be concise and when to end early, we end early. Go.
Well, listen, I just want to put out there this basic concept of what I talked about earlier, and that is that I encourage people to wrap their minds around this idea that every day you should change and grow. Every day you ask yourself, how can I get better at whatever concept that you're talking about? This is what I do with businesses. I get them to look at themselves and to try to improve. And here's the other key. It's wonderful if you can wake up one day and be a completely different person, different professional, different consultant. But what I really like to say is grow just a little bit every day. Just get better every day if you can. That's my word for you.
Perfect there. Hey, you got 1 minute and 42 seconds left. Is there anything else you want to add, or we can end early and that's okay?
We can end earlier. I've said my piece. I love your style, Bob. Keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
Thank you so much. You pulled it off. 6 questions, 9 minutes, because the best know when to be concise and when to end.
May I add one more thing?
We got to wrap it up real quick, so go for it.
My wife said 6 questions in 9 minutes. She fell on the ground laughing. I'm going to show her this video. I can't wait.
We got the joke there, but you pulled it off. Say your website real quick.
My website is humadyn.com, HUMADYN.com.
Perfect. It's in the description. It's magic there. Kevin, thank you so much for being on. Tip of the hat to you.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome. And for everyone else watching or listening, make sure you check out more episodes of the On Fire B2B podcast. I am Bob Clark. You all have a wonderful day now. Talk to you later. Bye.